I'm Cece Summers. Welcome to You Kill Me Every Time. Strayed. I just can't escape this man. I am anticipating to be highly traumatized and sure to make you guys laugh, so at least there's that. All right, anything further from me at this point is just stalling, so let's just do it. The torrential downpour seemed to come out of nowhere. It wasn't even cloudy when I left. I stood under an awning and watched the wall of gray solidify with a sigh. My attention was coaxed to a warm yellow light coming from behind me. What does this button do? Oh! Oh, you can just take screenshots. Cool, okay. Some kind of pub? I've never seen it before, yet somehow it felt nostalgic. Yeah, I bet it does. I gave up on the idea of getting home soon and opened the door. The sound of relaxed chatting and clinking glasses drew me in. I sat down at a small table and breathed in the scent of cheap liquor and damp wood. Well, I've never seen you before. Haven't you, though? We've seen a lot of each other, my guy. Are you waiting for someone? Well, you know how we do this. We're gonna play it straight as if we don't know that this man is a fucking psycho and see what happens, and then we'll go down the multiple paths that we know are waiting for us. No, I just came in to escape the rain. He looked behind me, seemingly noticing the rain for the first time. Wow. It's really coming down, eh? I got a bit ahead of myself. My name is Strade. No way. Nice to meet you, my friend. What about you? I'm Cece. Ah, I'm so glad you came in here. I'm sure you are. I was just thinking to myself how I wanted someone to talk to. I noticed that he had a light European accent of some kind. Wasn't it German? I can't do a German accent. It would be offensive, so we're all just gonna play pretend. We're just all gonna pretend that I can do it, and I'm doing it right now. Please, let me get you a beer. He shifted in his chair, seeming as if he wasn't going to wait for an answer. Can I have a soda instead? Of course. Anything with the liquid can take the drug he's gonna slip into it, so. He grinned as he got up. I watched as he sauntered towards the bar. I let out a short sigh and took a look back at the windows. Still raining, maybe even worse than before. My mind wandered. What am I doing here? Suddenly, Strade was back. He set the 2 drinks on the table as he sat down. This is my favorite bar. It's a good place for conversation, don't you think? I looked around at the patrons, nearly all sipping beverages. He was right. Everyone was talking. Among the murmurs, a few excited exclamations about the weather. He took a swig of his beer. Since I've never seen you in here before, I assume you weren't on your way to the bar. Did you come from work? I don't know, did I? Yeah, people will miss me if I go missing. I have a job. So, not a great kidnapping candidate. Ah, you must be tired then. And I'm sure you just wanted to get home to... What terrible luck. Well, hopefully the rain clears up soon. Although, in the meantime, I'd love to hear a little more. I relaxed into my seat and began chatting with him. It seemed so easy to talk about myself. I sipped at my soda. I told him about my day while he listened, fully invested. And then, well, I ended up here. So you have. I suppose your bad luck is my good luck. No. You've been fascinating so far. He chuckled, seemingly totally pleased with the situation. How's the soda? I don't think I've ever gotten a soft drink here before. Well, we're not doing that. It's good. It's good. Because, okay, when we're in Boyfriend to Death and you just fucking fully lean into it, he gets so angry horny that he just ganks you right then and there. You just can't control it. Although for us, maybe that is best case scenario. He leaned back for a moment, looking behind me with the whistle. Rain's still coming down like crazy. I suppose I haven't told you anything about myself yet. He stopped to consider for a moment. Well, these days, when I'm not hanging around here, I'm usually working on the odd project. I guess you make and produce videos. Are you an influencer, Strade? I started studying engineering in Europe, then moved here. I went to a university a few provinces away to continue with that. But mortgages are cheaper here. I raised my eyebrow. The odd project? Oh, sure, yeah. Mostly hobby projects, machines, hand drills, nail guns, general power tools. Although I also repair things for my neighbors. You can always come to me if you need a lawnmower fixed. And I suppose I'm lucky too. I managed to secure a few patents that are still paying royalties. More income means more time at the bar, meeting new friends. He lets out a deep laugh. Don't you giggle. Don't you giggle at me, mister. I'm onto you. I know your fucking tricks. He really seemed to be enjoying himself. He went on to gleefully explain a few engineering concepts. Despite the fact that a lot of concepts went over my head, his excitement in explaining them was infectious. I found myself listening to him and talking about myself with a sense of ease. Our light conversation blended in with the comfortable buzz of the bar. As he kept chatting away happily, I leaned back. This bar is so relaxing. I let myself lose track of time. Drowsiness softened my thoughts. I wonder why. I slumped back into my chair. You're starting to look a bit tired, buddy. Yeah. Weird. I yawned in reply. It's this bar. It's making me feel sleepy. It's something in this bar. You're right. And I guess we've been at it for quite a while. He looked over my shoulder and clicked his tongue in disapproval. The rain hasn't slowed down a bit. I looked behind me to see the wall of water past the window myself. Guess we'll just have to get you home anyway. Oh, yeah, it's getting late. I stood up from the table and stretched. Let me walk you out, huh? No. I nodded in reply. I was already envisioning my warm bed. The bar is much quieter now. I really lost track of time. We walked past the last few patrons and pushed through the door. As it shut behind us, the soothing sound of the bar was abruptly silenced, and we were left alone in the dark with the roaring rain. I parked just over here. I don't give a fuck where you parked. I'm walking. His arm wrapped around my shoulders. Before I could protest, I was pushed into the sheet of falling water. Get away from me. I shove at his arm. I could walk by myself. He didn't let go. Which way are we going? It was hard to see in the dark. Suddenly, a brick wall emerged from the murk and slammed into my face. Strade's weight followed and ground me against the rough surface. He would like all of these things. Not that. And I wouldn't do that. If I were coming into this situation fresh, had no idea what was going on, I'd be screaming. I tried to scream as loud as possible. With a sense of panic, I realized that his body was crushing the air from me. What was left of my scream was swallowed by the rain. He shuffled for a moment, then wrenched my wrists together behind me. The sound of a zip tie closing sent a deep chill down my spine. I tried to pull my wrists away from his grip, but another tie tightened around them. Come on, relax. His hand slid over my mouth. It's time for you to come home. Fuck off. Fuck off. Ugh, I hated him then, and I hate him now. Oh, there's locked things. Okay. I can bite him. Fucking bite him. I maneuvered my head and bit down on his hand as hard as I could. Yes, I love biting these fuckers. Ah! I expected him to jump backwards to get away from me, but he didn't. I realized he was breathing hard next to my ear. A biter, huh? His hand snaked up my neck. I like that. Son of a bitch. God damn it. I hate this guy. He even takes the pleasure out of biting somebody because you're mad. A thick piece of fabric was pulled around my mouth, tightened and tied quickly behind my head. Then another. A blindfold. I tried to quell a sense of rising panic. He gripped my shoulder again and started pushing me along. I can't see. I can't scream. My mind raced, hoping that someone would see what was happening, but the pounding rain on my head washed that thought away. Of course. Everyone is inside. I stumbled forward, blind and completely helpless, until we finally stopped, maybe just a half a block away. A beep and a click. No. I was pushed forward until I fell over the bumper of a car. Come on now. Another shove and a lift, and I was inside what I was sure was a trunk. See you at home, buddy. The trunk slammed shut. Some insane part of my mind felt like it was worth focusing on being warm and out of the rain. The sound of the engine brought me back to reality. I tried to kick at the trunk, but nothing gave at all. The lights, you have to kick at the tail lights. My feet hurt. My head hurts. I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to stay calm as I was rocked back and forth by the car's movements. I couldn't tell if it was my panic playing with my sense of time or not, but the drive seemed to take forever. Eventually, I heard the pop of the driver's door opening. My heart started hammering again. A click and whoosh of air told me that the trunk was open. Ah, look at you. You're so cute like that. I tried to protest, but the fabric gag muffled everything I could possibly say. Hands clamped around my shoulders and pulled me out of the trunk. I wobbled, trying to stand. He steadied me. Come on, just a bit further. He sounded excited, like I was blindfolded because he was going to surprise me with a gift. It is not a gift. He's got plenty of surprises up his sleeve, and none of them are going to be good for us. He guided me firmly across the floor. It was warm, quiet, no rain. This must be a garage. I felt myself pushed through the threshold of a door. Okay, be careful here. These are stairs, down. I pushed a toe forward until the ground disappeared. Fear pulsed through me. Would he lie? What if it just drops? He forced me forward until I had to find the next stair to steady myself. My half whimper, half sigh of relief was muffled by the gag. I continued my forced march down the stairs as I considered my position. If that was a garage, this must be a basement. I wonder how much of it has changed, if anything. Still the deep freezer where he got his fucking heart ripped out and eaten and he was stuffed in there like a freeze-dried little bitch. I lurched forward. There was no step. I'd reached the bottom. He pushed me further, just a few steps, and then stopped. Is this it? Is he going to kill me now? He clicked his tongue. You're soaked. He was right. I was shivering. Just a second. I don't know what he expected me to do other than wait. I can't even see. I focus on the sound of a drawer being rifled through. Then, I froze as a sharp point pressed lightly under my chin. This is a knife. I'm going to cut your clothes off. Of course you are, Strade. Of course you are. Bitch, no. Do not. Nuh-uh. I shook my head and tried to say no. It was pretty clear, despite the fabric stuffed in my mouth. Shh, shh, shh. He chuckled lightly. Relax. I don't plan to hurt you. Yet. I'm just getting these wet clothes off you. The word yet was echoing in my head as I heard the swift rip of fabric. I gasped involuntarily as my wet clothing was peeled away from me. Soon I was standing there in nothing but my underwear. My arms were bound. I couldn't even cover myself. No need to be shy here. By the time we're done, you won't be worried about that at all. Yeah, we're gonna be exposed a lot more than just skin. I wanted to argue, but two heavy hands gripping my shoulders cut off my train of thought. Sit. They pushed me down with the command. We're gonna resist. Get wrecked. I shoved back against him and screamed into my gag. Ha! His hand suddenly pushed hard, sending me to the floor in a heap. My arms rubbed up against a metal pole. Just relax. His voice was coming from behind me now. The zip ties holding my wrists together were sliced away. Before I could comprehend my freedom, I was frozen by the characteristic rip of duct tape. My arms were pulled tight behind me and bound around the pole. The cloth in my mouth was pulled away. Then the blindfold was finally lifted from my face. Comfy? No, I'm fucking not strayed. Is that a trick question? No, I'm not comfy. You shoved me into a trunk. You. Anyway. Yeah, anyway. I'm being silly. Now you're dry, so you won't freeze. Like you would, you freeze or burnt bitch. I want you to be...
Wie sagt man wachsam?
Yeah, I would have butchered that.
Wie sagt man wachsam?
Wie sagt man wachsam? It means, how do you say alert? Properly awake tomorrow. Tomorrow? What do you mean, tomorrow? I admit, I'm very excited to get started, but it's a bit late, and I want to be properly awake, too. So get some sleep. He turned towards the stairs. Wait, bitch, let me out! Why? Because he's gonna do bad things. Why are you doing this? Because he's gonna do bad things. Because he's a bad man. Did I do something to you? You made me excited. I want to get to know you. The real you. The inner parts, right? The guts and stuff. So, rest. We'll talk again tomorrow. I watched him bound up the stairs, whistling happily. The heavy sound of a door closing seemed to jumpstart my panic. He's really just leaving me down here? I twisted my wrists and pulled at the bindings. I can't. I tried to calm down. I started examining the space around me. It seemed like a mostly regular basement, although a few tools sent a shiver up my spine. Muffled talking caught my attention. Huh? It was him, I could tell, but who is he talking to? Yeah, who? I wonder. Who could it be? I could hardly hear, but it sounded like another man. Hey! Help me, he's crazy! He's gonna kill me! Yeah, runs up there like, yeah, better you than me though, bitch! Please. The voices stopped for a moment. They heard me. They started talking again. My hope died as quickly as it arrived. Whoever he's talking to, I don't think they're gonna help me. There's no point in fighting anymore. If I sleep, maybe I'll have enough energy to try and escape tomorrow. He might make a mistake, and I'll need to react fast. I have to. The fear finally started giving way to exhaustion. I slowly drifted into a restless sleep. Something was nudging me. Hey. Are you awake yet? Well, I fucking am now, dick. I was asleep. My memory flooded back to me, bringing fresh panic in its wake. You are very cute when you're asleep, you know. I thought coming down the stairs would wake you up. No, this can't be real. You might have slept better than me, actually. I was so excited to play with you, I couldn't rest. Leave my insides on the inside, Strade. But now we can finally get started. He held up a gleaming knife. I thought about all the things I could do. But I think, let's start simple. There they are. There they are. Yeah. I was wondering when those were gonna pop up. He moved close to me. I instinctively shuffled, trying in vain to get away from him. A hand cupped my face. Where should we start? Your leg looks soft. I couldn't think. I just stared at the knife as he lowered it to my exposed skin. His grip on my face tightened. Don't worry, I'll make sure to go slow. He dragged the blade across my skin, slowly, as he promised. What the fuck? So funny. You're so spirited. Fuck off. God, I want to bite his dick. I don't want to be anywhere near it, but if that situation does inevitably happen, I want to bite it. He shifted his weight, seeming to renew his excitement. His hand finally left my face as he steadied himself. He moved the knife edge against my skin next to the original cut. Get away from me, bitch. I tried to jerk my leg out of the way, but it only caused the edge to cut much deeper. Like, I knew that's what was gonna happen, but in this situation, if this were actually me, I would not, I'd want to kick him in his face until he goes and cuts my legs off. My blood clung to the edge of the knife in his shaking hand. I glanced back up at him and realized he was still watching me. Had he looked down at all? I cried out as a deep gash was slashed into my leg. I knew it. I knew you would be good. I could tell. His free hand slid over my thigh, roughly teasing my fresh, open wounds. Show me more. He positioned the tip of the knife to point straight down into my thigh. Don't do that. What happened to going slow? Yeah, that's what I should be yelling. What? Wait! I screamed as he plunged the blade deep into my leg. I slumped over my mangled lap. My heart was pounding, spilling my blood out onto the stained floor. Another rhythm crept into my consciousness. He was panting. His fingers moved towards the hilt of the knife still lodged in my body. That's too deep, isn't it? I went too far. I knew I would go too far. His other hand tightened around the grip. I screamed as he jerked the knife, twisting it lightly. Well, okay, that wouldn't help. If you went too deep, the answer to that isn't to just continue twisting it in deeper. It's too much. I know. What the hell is he talking about? The agony in my leg consumed me. His confusing self-argument was more than I could process. He started to pull the knife out of me. I groaned as the serrated edges of the knife tore at my mutilated flesh. I tried to breathe slowly to adjust to the pain. He kept pulling the knife out, slowly, agonizingly. He matched his breathing to mine, his breaths growing deeper as well. Finally, the tip of the knife emerged from the bloody pulp. He breathed out a sigh, as if it had come out of his own leg. I remained frozen, worried that any sound or motions would get him going again, which is a valid fear because it would. Eventually, his breathing relaxed. You're bleeding a lot. His fingers hovered over the wound he created. Too much. His hand balled into a fist, withdrawn in chastity rather than violence. He let out a breath and stood up. My body finally released a fraction of the tension it was holding. Do you want me to stitch you up? Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I knew he did this the first time too. He didn't do it with anesthetic, but he did patch it up, and that gave us a little bit of a better chance. So let's go right ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You know it will hurt, don't you? But you know you need to stop bleeding too. You're a tough one. Survivor. Very interesting. Well, let's fix you up then. Fuck off. He turned to gather a medical kit and bottle from the cabinets behind him. He sat down and placed the objects on the ground. As he picked through it, I was a bit surprised to see how clean everything looked. Individually wrapped sterile supplies looked so out of place in his bloody fingers. He tore a tiny packet and pulled out a curved needle. Anxious energy flowed through me like a wave. Why is he moving so slowly? I tore my gaze away from the needle and found the answer. He was staring at me. You're sweating. I instinctively examined him in return. So are you. He lowered the needle to my torn-up thighs. I twitched reflexively, anticipating pain. He lowered his knee over mine and held down my other leg firmly. He brushed the needle over the largest, gaping wound. I twitched again, but his body kept mine, restrained. He clicked his tongue appreciatively. This will hurt. Before I could react, the needle shot through my ruined skin. My gasp of surprise devolved into a groan of pain. He pushed the needle through the other side of the wound, eliciting a fresh cry. His concentration didn't waver. He kept moving the needle. In. I squirmed. Out. I screamed. He was moving faster. I couldn't keep track anymore. Why? He pulled the strings smoothly and tied them down with mechanical precision. Why is he moving so quickly? Is this mercy? Through waves of pain, I tried to concentrate on his face. No. This is not mercy. This is obsession. He can't stop. I didn't think he could even slow down. I tried to relax as he finished. Eventually, he paused, scanning my leg. I finally lowered my gaze and held in a gasp. They're perfect. The length of the cut strings, the distance between the stitches. Something about the unwavering uniformity made me uneasy. He was panting and sweating. What do you think, mein Liebchen? Fuck off! That's what I think. Of my stab wounds? I can't say I feel great about them. He let out a genuine laugh. Was that a joke? I didn't realize you were all so funny. I keep fucking up. I keep doing the things that he turns out to like, and I don't mean to. What a beautiful surprise. I refused to dignify that with an answer. Anyway, we still have one more thing to do. I balked at the idea of having any more torture. Need to clean you up. I let out a small sigh of relief. It would be no good if you got infected. I looked down at my freshly stitched, bloody thighs, the angry blush of bruising that was already spreading out from the wounds. He opened another packet from his medical kit. It had a wipe inside. This will sting a bit. I sucked in a breath, prepared for the worst. Yet he moved fairly gently. He rubbed the wipe over my leg, carefully cleaning the blood. It did sting a bit near the cuts, but certainly not as bad as anything I just endured. I stiffened as his hand dipped between my thighs. You've got blood there too. Try to relax. Don't tell me to relax, dude. I tried to squirm away from him, but as usual, it was no use. There. Mostly clean. Mostly? He grabbed the bottle beside the kit. This will sting a lot. He opened the bottle and immediately poured it over my injuries. Ah! I screamed at the instant, intense burning. I thought it was acid at first, but thankfully the pain began to subside quickly. Alcohol. Should be nice and clean now. I felt my body slumping forward, pulling at the bonds on my wrists. I could hardly feel them. Feeling a bit worn out. Now that the pain was starting to dull, my head was starting to feel heavy. I couldn't think of a response, but it didn't seem like he was expecting one. He cupped my face in his hand. "Get away from me!" I sharply shook my head in an attempt to escape his touch. He withdrew his hand with an amused chuff. "I can see why you might be tired after all that. I was a little bit, extreme." "Extreme? Just a little bit?" "But you're very exciting." The buzzing pain was distracting me. What the hell is he talking about? I'm so glad I brought you home. I feel like I'm getting to know you very well. And as much as I want to push you to the edge, I want to make this last. So I'll let you rest. We'll have time for all that later. He stood up straight in a motion to leave. Let me the fuck go, bitch! I can't let you go now. There's still so much to do, so much to learn. No, we've barely gotten started. He finally turned to walk away. The stairs creaked as he thumped casually up to the door. With a heavy thud, I knew I was alone again. I let out a sigh. For a while, I could hear footsteps, but eventually, only silence remained with me. The pain in my legs was a dull throb. I tried to consider my options. Okay, so we can play with our restraints. Can we, look at stuff? Can we click on stuff? Okay, that's a negative. We cannot click on anything. So, listen, I want to fuck with my restraints. I want to. I'm just worried that it's just gonna make us hurt. You know? Because there's been games where, we try to fuck with our restraints and then it only ends up hurting us in the end and then we're fucked. But at the same time, I think there was an ending where we fucked with our restraints enough to where we could get in and out of it without him noticing, and then we were able to grab a scalpel, try to stab him with it. So maybe we'll do that. Suddenly, one of my hands popped out of the tape. I froze, not quite believing I was free. Whoa. I clamped a newly freed hand over my mouth. It worked? My heart started racing. What do I do now? I didn't think I'd get this far. I leaned against the pole and shakily got to my feet, wincing as my stitches protested. We need to get a weapon of some kind. Plastic cutlery, bottle opener, and a bag of zip ties. Memories of the bar rushed to my head unbidden. I pushed the drawer closed as if to shut them out. Those aren't going to help me right now. Okay. What about this one? Rows of various wrenches. As I was considering their possibility as a weapon, a glint of metal caught my eye. Near the back of the drawer. A knife! I pulled it out as my heart started pounding. We're gonna take the fucking knife. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. I gripped the knife and closed the door. Alright, what's in here? Rags, jugs of cleaners, attachments for power tools. I desperately swept my hands over the shelves, hoping for anything useful. They caught on something plastic. I carefully pulled the small card out from the cabinet. It was a driver's license, but it definitely wasn't Strade's. It was a middle-aged looking guy, balding on the top. Why? My throat constricted as I realized. This man is probably dead. He was probably down here. Just like me. I hastily put it back in the cabinet and closed it. Well, fuck! And I tried to forget about it. Fuck! Alright, I mean, we're gonna have to go in there. But I know it's gonna be full of containers of meat. I looked around and found a mini fridge. I popped it open and found a single cheap beer and a roast beef sandwich in a plastic bag. Of course it would be beer. I guess I can't be that picky, though. Just the sight of the food made my stomach rumble viciously. Fear might have been masking it before, but I was starving. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we're gonna fucking eat it. I grabbed the sandwich and tore the package open. I stuffed it into my mouth and practically moaned into it. My ravenous hunger drove me to taking huge bites. After nearly choking, I pulled out the beer and cracked it open before immediately chugging it. The relief washed over me as the liquid helped the sandwich go down. I didn't care about the taste. I was far too hungry and thirsty. I finished every bit of the sandwich and every drop of the beer. It took a moment just to bask in the sensation of fullness after so long. Eventually, I gathered the strength to leave the afterglow of my meal. I placed the bag and empty can back in the fridge where I found them. Then I closed the fridge and sighed. That's a lot better. Hell yeah! Got our strength up. What's in there? I limped over to the cabinet under the sink and opened it. I dug through tape, nails, screws. I huffed an annoyance. Nothing useful. Alright. Anything else? I mean, do we bother? Okay. I'm probably gonna save real quick before I try to go up the stairs. Alright, let's fucking make mistakes. Let's go. Well, no time like the present. I can't wait around. I need to take the fight to him. I took my first step on the stairs and paused. I gulped, evened out my breathing. I can do this. I carefully climbed up the steps, gently, slowly. I doubt anyone could hear a creak through that door, but I moved carefully anyway. Soon, too soon, I met the heavy door. I saw a handle and a sliding lock. Why would it lock from the inside? I shook my head. That doesn't matter. I reached for the handle and twisted. Yeah, that's what I expected. I couldn't breathe. Panic and darkness closed my throat as I desperately tried to suck in a gulp of air. I don't know what that says. I think it's this.
Scheiß.
I think that's it. I think that what that little B is. Shit. Oh no, you killed your plaything, fucker. Agony finally started to creep into my already overwhelmed senses. The hurried thumping down the stairs barely registered against my desperation. Finally, I was able to take in a breath. Oxygen carried the screaming message of every muted nerve to my brain. A broken wail escaped my body. Cece, what were you up to? I instinctively searched for the knife. It was on the floor, uselessly out of reach. With a pang of terror, I realized he saw the knife too. So you got loose, and you were thinking to come and get me upstairs. He suddenly laughed. That's brave. I should have been more careful. You really might have killed me. But look at you now. I didn't want to look. The pain was blinding. I didn't want to see. That's obviously broken. I glanced down and immediately lurched at the sight. Aside from the unnatural angle, I could also see what looked like my bone. I felt lightheaded. How do you feel? Broken anywhere else? Answer angrily. How do you think I feel? My bone is sticking out. And what do you fucking care anyway? You're just gonna kill me. Just get it over with already. You still have energy to yell. That's good. Fuck, why do I keep doing this? Well, I can't leave you like that. My breath caught in my throat. The thought of him doing anything to me was too much. Need to set it at least. Wrap it. He got up and left me twisted on the floor. I tried to make sense of the situation as I heard him rifle through drawers. Why isn't he hurting me? Why isn't he angry? And why would he bother setting my bone? I froze. Setting my bone. He's gonna... My stomach flipped. I'm sorry I didn't catch you up there. What? I was so shocked to see you on the stairs, I didn't think to grab you before you fell. You're sorry? You stabbed me in the leg. Ah. That was on purpose. This was an accident. I should have tied you better, too. Now, hold still. I screamed as his hands clamped around my broken leg. I finally noticed the look in his eye, the sweat on his forehead. Ah! My scream eventually faded, and all that was left was our panting. His fingers trailed down my mangled leg. My arm slid and my head fell to the floor. The part of my mind warning me about his threatening touch was starting to fade. Are you passing out, Cece? His fingers twitched over my skin. I can't get excited. The lightheaded feeling was coming back. This time, I was thankful for it. I vaguely felt him wrapping my leg in something. I couldn't lift my head anymore. I let my consciousness and pain slip away. I struggled to breathe. Something weighed down on my body. Oh no. Are you here yet? I struggled under the weight as panic traveled through my nerves. I can't breathe. I thrashed in terror and the sand fell away around me. Are you coming to see me? Will you ask for me? Who is this? I blinked away the last grains and tried to see where I was. Nothing but darkness and warm sand. I tried to see a horizon, but I couldn't focus. There will be blood here, but not yours. Hello? Who are you? I tried to stand up, but I couldn't seem to get a foothold. The sand kept shifting under me. Please! Exquisite vitality. Sublime profanity. I sank into the softness and screamed. I love you so much. What? That reminds me of Price of Flesh, when there's a ending where you can just like walk in the desert and then just keep walking forever and forever and forever, and then weird shit happens. Something was shaking me. Good morning, mein Liebchen. Liebchen? Lieb...
Mein Liebchen. Mein Liebchen.
Mein Liebsch... It sounds like a Liebchen. Liebchen? Whatever. Whatever, Strade. I don't give a shit. Or maybe I should say good noon. You were sleeping very deeply. My nervous system was awake, but my brain was still catching up. The dull throb in my legs made itself known against my will. I wanted to let you rest, but I can't wait any longer. We have so much to do. I pulled my knees in closer to my body. I really didn't want to find out what his plans were. But first, a couple of things. You don't mind if I film, do you? I mean, do I have a fucking choice in the matter? Why even ask me? You're just gonna do whatever you want anyway. He laughed in response. I am. I just wanted to know what you think. But it seems like you're ready to let me do what I want. That's good. I'm not ready to let you do what you want. I'm really not. Don't worry. You won't even notice it. I looked around trying to find a camera. See? I couldn't find it. I sighed and let it go. I'm sure the camera is the least of my problems. It really, really is the least of our problems. He suddenly pulled something from his pocket, causing me to flinch slightly. I also have something for you. A granola bar? I realize I've been forgetting to feed you. I can't have you passing out from hunger of all reasons. Yeah, well, I ate your sandwich, so get wrecked. You need your energy. He unwrapped the bar and held it up to my face. I'm gonna eat it. I need to. I immediately went for the bar and took a huge bite. I didn't care how I looked anymore. I was hungry. I barely chewed the first bite before going in for another. I half expected him to tear the bar away to trick me somehow. but he held it steady as I ravenously wolfed it down. Hungry, huh? Yeah, well, you didn't feed me. I answered his question by yanking a chunk of bar from his hand with my teeth. You can chew. I won't take it away. I huffed out a breath and slowed down a little. Before I knew, he was holding a piece too small for me to bite away. He took my momentary hesitation as an invitation. He pushed the last bit between my lips, brushing his fingers over my skin just a little too long. He stood up and dusted his hands off on his shirt. Any moment of him brushing his lips over my skin is too long. Even a slight little millisecond is much too long for him to be touching me. The tiny meal did make me feel a little better. See, our chances are getting better. We're getting there. We're getting there. Well, we're gonna escape, guys. We're gonna make it out of here alive. Thanks, I guess. The phrase came out reluctantly. Haha, still polite, eh? I could tell that was difficult for you. Yeah, well, it won't be difficult to stab you in the face, so. My relief was short-lived. He was staring at me. I shifted nervously as he studied my body. Your stitches look pretty good. And your leg, well, that's not looking so good. But we can't expect much for that. I looked down at my mangled body. My throat tightened. He's going to do more. You look scared. He shifted his weight just a bit closer. 2 nights alone, tied to a pole in a strange man's basement. I'm sure you know that no one will find you here. So it's just you and me. And you know I'm going to kill you. Do you think it'll be today? Or will I just play with you again? I squeezed my legs together. What is he going on about? Maybe I'll cut all your new stitches open. Don't do that. You work so hard on them. Let's not cut anything at all. Or maybe I'll cut out one of your organs and make you eat it. I bet you'd look so cute with your liver in your mouth. Okay. Haha, you're going a bit pale. Okay. I have a better idea. I really didn't want to hear any more of his ideas. I almost wish he'd stop talking and get it over with. Why don't I let you have some control, eh? Oh, is this where he offers the power tool or the hammer? Sure, go right fucking ahead. You get to choose what we do next. Yippee for me! I choose you letting me go. Yeah. No. I swallowed nervously. He turned to the cabinets and took his time looking at different tools. I couldn't quite see what he was doing, but I heard a click. Yes, this is good. Manual versus automatic. Yep. I heard the unmistakable whir of a drill. Okay, Cece, here's your choice. Drill or hammer? Oh, shit, I have to choose one right now. Oh, no, that one. The hammer, I guess. Really? The analog option, eh? It's a bit more personal, isn't it? He played with the hammer, testing its weight in his hand. No machines, just us. I won't give you the satisfaction of playing with a machine. He could still do anything with a hammer. He could kill me. He crouched down in front of me, holding the hammer. It's more, what's the word? Close? No. Intimate. It's more intimate. I kept my mouth shut. I wasn't too thrilled with what he was saying, but I definitely preferred him talking to whatever he planned to do with that hammer. I gave your legs a lot of attention yesterday. Why don't we start with your arm today? I tried to duck my arm away from him, but as usual, the pole kept me firmly in place. He revealed a small handful of nails before positioning one over the meat of my bicep. Part of me prayed he was joking. He wouldn't. He wouldn't, I lied to myself. Even as he raised the hammer, even as the stitches in my legs throbbed. The hammer crashed down, driving the nail into my skin and shattering my desperate doubt. The shock and force of the impact were so strong I didn't make a sound. But my silence wouldn't last. Another blow drove the nail deeper. This time, I bit down on a scream. I couldn't stop myself from looking down at it. The nail was barely sticking out. It was almost entirely inside me. Well, he revealed another nail. I groaned in protest, unable to form my thoughts into words. He aimed it beside the first one and positioned the hammer. How do you feel? The punching force and pain shook my body like a wave. He moved with perfect sureness and precision, like a well-oiled machine. Do you regret picking the hammer? I regret that I had a choice in the matter. My thought became a scream as another ruthless blow drove the nail deep into my arm. He laughed. He seemed to enjoy my inability to talk. I slumped against the pole as pain kept washing over me. Some tiny part of me was relieved. I didn't want to answer him anyway. His hand kept producing nails, and his hammer kept driving them in. Again and again. Until he took one last nail from his palm. Except, it wasn't a nail. Was it a screw? Looks like I made a mistake. He held it up to me. A screw. A thick metal screw. He held the screw's point up to my arm. Then he dragged it over my skin, slow, lazy circles. Even the gentle touch felt like fire on my abused arm. So, where should I put this? Why don't you shove it up your ass? Shove it up your ass, bitch. I knew I could count on you for a laugh. Oh, I got an idea. He lifted the screw away and placed it over my knee instead. Don't worry, I'll be nice. You'll use the power tool and I'll put it in the leg you already ruined. Oh, well, stuff. That's so much nicer. The thought made my stomach lurch. I squirmed, moving my knee away, until he grabbed it roughly and moved his own knees to cage it in place. No! He held the screw over my kneecap like a nail and readied the hammer. Stop! Don't! Dodge! Every muscle in my body strained, trying to get my knee away. The force of his hammer blow drove the screw to messily tear my knee apart. My scream came out like a howl at the ceiling. I didn't hear him panting or see him raise the hammer. I just felt my knee shatter under the second blow. I didn't think it would go in. But where there's a will, there's a way, right? The third blow wedged the screw fully into my body. My screams and garbled protests were all blurring together. My entire leg throbbed and my knee was already starting to swell. He finally put the hammer down and put his hands on my leg around my knee. I groaned as he rubbed his hands around the injury. It looks kind of funny like that. Like you have a battery terminal. Get wrecked. His hands froze. Oh. No. Don't do that. No. You keep your goddamn batteries away from me, you little shit. As he stood up, I began to panic. You have to be kidding me. There's nails in my arm. You fucking bastard. I could hardly think. My entire body was already in so much pain. As I watched him go through his cabinets yet again, I wondered if I would even survive this. Maybe this will be what kills me. He returned triumphantly, holding a box and cables. This is a little experiment of mine. A car battery doesn't have enough voltage to hurt you much, normally. But I made a few changes to this one. He knelt down and tapped the screw sticking out of my knee, sending out a new shockwave of pain. Only one terminal. I looked down at myself, my bleeding, broken heap of a body. We'll have to be creative. I bit down on a whimper as he shoved the clamp into the stitches from my first night and closed the teeth on my flesh. He attached the cables to the battery while humming a sickeningly cheerful tune. I was sure I couldn't take any more, but I knew by now I had no choice. He raised the other clamp and closed its jaws over the screw sticking out from between my bones. Just the change of pressure had me clenching my teeth. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die because I was a dumbass and fell down the stairs and I don't have enough health to get me through this and I'm gonna die. Are you excited? He turned a knob as he spoke. The screw began to feel hot. He twisted the knob and the heat became a molten blade driven through the cartilage of my kneecap. I couldn't hold it anymore. I screamed as my leg began to seize. The fire spread and my veins filled with battery acid. My scream cut off abruptly. I couldn't move anymore. I just sat motionless as the metal lodged in my body boiled my blood. And then, everything stopped. Yeah. For one blissful moment, I felt absolutely nothing. No more pain, no more time, no more heartbeat. Until something punched me in the chest. Again and again. His face. He leaned back and pushed on my chest again. Well, fuck, I thought we were dead. My mangled body sucked in a breath of air and started coughing, all without my consent. Ah, there you go. My chest, my whole body was hurting. Even the light hurt. Suddenly his lips were fervently crashing into mine. Blech! A mix of his overwhelming excitement and my lack of air made me feel drugged. I think you really died there for a minute. Yeah, well, I did. Should have just left me like that. I'm so glad you came back. Oh, thanks. I know. I couldn't help it. You just look so good. I went too far. I heard him speaking, but I wasn't really listening. I couldn't seem to put the words together. I'll lean you up. My head and limbs felt like they were made of lead. Even the pain felt further away somehow. I watched him pull a nail slowly from my skin. I viewed my skin and blood clinging to the nail with the interest of watching a bug crawl across pavement. He pulled the rest out as my head drooped to my chest, until his fingers closed over the head of the screw. No, leave that there. Leave that shit there. Do not pull that shit out. No. I could just barely make out my knee now, and the colors suggested charring along with all the trauma. This one might hurt. He really is trying to kill me. I mean, I knew that, but... I watched passionlessly as he pulled the metal from burnt flesh. It didn't hurt at all. That's more damage than I expected. Everything seemed further and further away. You definitely won't be walking on this anytime soon. I felt like I was under a layer of cloth. Or maybe sinking underwater. The last thing I saw was bandages being wrapped around my leg. Pain found me in my sleep before consciousness did. I opened my eyes and drew in a breath of discomfort. How long was I out for? I have to do something. I have to find some way out of here. I won't last much longer. My body won't answer the desperation of my mind. I couldn't even seem to keep my head up. I sighed and surrendered to sleep. I mean, is there a point? We can't even get up. We'll try. Fuck! The tape wasn't budging. All I'm doing is wasting my energy. I leaned back in defeat. I was so exhausted I couldn't feel myself falling asleep. I simply drifted into a dark and dreamless sleep. Good morning. Yeah, It's time to wake up. I opened my eyes slowly, reluctantly. Even the usual rush of terror I felt as I remembered where I was seemed to be muted. I knew my body was falling apart. Maybe I just didn't have anything left to be afraid with anymore. You've lasted a long time. His voice cut through the fog of my thoughts. Oh, goody for me! Now I get to be on the live stream. I'm very happy for this. I didn't even have the energy to groan and reply to his positive energy. But you're not looking so good. Your knee is swelling a lot. You drove a screw through it. He chuckled quietly. We did get a little wild yesterday. No. Not we. Not we. You did. I got fucked up. I recoiled as he approached me and crouched down. Stay away. He ignored my protest and slid his hand over my knee. Still, the pain blossomed like a flame, even though his touch was feather light. You're doing quite well. You are very,
Unverwusstlich. Unverwusstlich.
It means indestructible, which is incorrect. I am very destructible, so let's stop all of this. Robust! Oh, huh. He laughed lightly. You make me forget words. He squeezed my knee and I lurched forward in agony. I hissed in discomfort as he continued. I want to try something a bit different with you today. Don't make that face. It'll be easy. But first, I'll need to get you off that pole. My mind raced as he stood up. You can be good if I untie you, right? Abso-fucking-lutely not. I will attack you like a rabid goose. I immediately nodded in response. Good. He stepped behind me and grabbed one of my bound arms. I felt a cold metal blade slip between my wrists and cut the tape. I shivered. I didn't even notice the knife in his hand before. He gripped my arm and pulled me upwards. I stumbled on stiff and injured legs, but he braced me against his body and held me steady. There you go. This might be the only chance I get. I slammed my elbow into his gut and tried to find solid footing on my own. He grunted in pain behind me. But just as soon as I sensed a spark of hope, he kicked my legs out from under me. Yeah, I mean, we knew that it wasn't going to work, but it still makes me feel better. My body slammed to the ground. A fresh wave of pain exploded from my injuries. I groaned and slid my hands across the floor, trying to get them beneath my shoulders. A boot pushed underneath my chest and pried my body upward, flipping me over onto my back. I can't let you make any moves like that, buddy. His boot returned to my chest and pushed down. I know you're just trying to live. I get it. His weight shifted and the air was forced from my lungs. And I admire it. His foot lifted just enough for a bit of air to make it into my body. Then it slammed back down. I wheezed under his boot, weakly grasping at him. But I can't let you get away with it. He stomped on my chest, much harder than before. You understand, right? No, I don't. I could only writhe under him, completely unable to breathe. His foot left my chest, but the wind was still knocked out of me. He looked at me for a moment, then placed his boot over my neck. I struggled to get free, but the pressure was impossible to shake. It was fun, though. Panic and adrenaline drove my limbs, clawing at his leg. His boot kept pressing down, crushing my trachea. I fought with all the desperation of a doomed animal in a wire trap. My arms fell to the floor, muscles completely bereft of oxygen to drive them. My mouth stayed open in a silent scream. The last thing I felt was the crunch of my broken neck. Dead Club, die for the first time. He left you breathless. Aww. Alright, we're gonna try to reason with him this time. It's not gonna do anything. We're gonna die. Anyway, he's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants, but, it's an answer choice and I'm gonna click it. You really don't need to do anything to me today. I'm already beat up from yesterday, and if you do anything else, I might die. That wouldn't be any fun, right? Ah, fuck off. You are adorable. But I can't stop now. I've been thinking about what I'm gonna do to you all night. Now, come on. He led me to what I thought was a table. Until I saw from this angle, it was a table saw. I instinctively tried to slow down, but he pushed me along until I was standing in front of it. My now familiar sense of panic rose and closed my throat. His heavy hand pressed against my back until I was bent over the table. Do you know what this is? You know I know what it is. Stop fucking with me. I could feel him chuckle against me. I clenched my jaw. Well, it's a machine. I felt a finger touch the back of my head. I really love machines. Did I ever tell you that? The finger started drawing circles absent-mindedly on the back of my skull. No, you should tell me a lot more about it instead of... He chuckled, but his fingers also clasped the back of my neck. I like to pull them apart and figure them out. Well, here's the thing. I know that humans are a beautiful machine, but there's so many documented dissections and things like that. There's even like the body museum where you could go and you can see actual dead people all cut up into pieces and see the organs and shit. That's a real thing. Look it up. You don't gotta do this. This is not... You can figure out how it works. We have the technology. You don't need to do this. But there's more to it than that. His wistful tone felt so out of place, pushed against a motionless saw. Machines are all made by people. For a purpose, intention. He began to stroke my head like some kind of pet. I love to look for that intention. The reason people make what they make. Why they do what they do. I didn't really know what he was trying to say, but I wasn't too eager for him to stop talking. What do you feel when you look at that blade? Like it would be really awesome if you didn't turn it on. His chuckle was quiet and dark. I feel like you're not listening to me at all. Not very good though, right? Even if I wasn't about to turn it on and push you into it. I stiffened, and a cold bead of sweat rolled down my back. People think machines are ugly. No, they don't. You're just weird. You're just a little weirdo, man. Nobody thinks that. More than ugly. Repulsive. Nobody thinks machines are repulsive. What? This is what your crusade is about. You need to find a new thing, my guy, because that's not true. People make the machines, but they don't want to look at them. I find that very interesting. I don't want to look at the table saw because you're going to push me into it and cut something off of me. Most likely my hand. That's why I don't want to look at it. If we were just doing wood carvings or making a birdhouse, fuck yeah, I'll look at that. That's a cool ass table saw. But it does make some sense, doesn't it? Intentions can be very ugly. A click, a high-pitched mechanical scream, and the saw came to life right in front of my face. My body moved on its own, straining against him, desperately trying to get away from the saw. His hand gripped the back of my head. I pushed against the table, clinging and scraping and trying to get any kind of purchase. I yelled and begged, but my voice was lost in the noise. My weakened body's desperate thrashing didn't seem to affect him at all. The muscles in his arm pressed my face closer and closer to the spinning blade, like a concrete wall, crushing me. Is he really just going to kill me like this? I screamed and cried, but it only seemed to waste my extremely limited strength. My nose was only millimeters from the machine now. I couldn't spare any effort to scream anymore. Only the scream of the blade filled the air now. And still, he pushed. What the fuck? 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 I moved my whole screen. A last sliver of strength left my body. I did not do that well. I didn't know that was coming. Yeah. Without resistance, his arm pushed my head into the saw. I thought I might have heard him yell. You got a splitting headache. Let's try that again. I did it! Yes! Just as my strength was giving out, his iron grip softened. I let myself fall to the table just beside the saw. Ha ha. He bent over my body, pressing me into the vibrating table. I almost did it. His voice was a little hard to hear over the saw, but he spoke very close to my ear. That would have been no fun. You would have died right there. I felt his gut bounce against me as he laughed. I don't know if it was the blithe way he spoke about killing me or if it was the noise, but I felt lightheaded. Through the dizziness, I began to register something else. His gut wasn't the only thing rubbing against my back. Yeah. A fight broke out in my head. Is this better or not? No, because he won't want to put that in traditional places that you would put that in somebody. He's gonna put it in new places that I didn't have before, like my stomach. I clung to a frantic hope. Maybe he'll forget about the saw. So, Yeah, he's doing bad things now. No, that's not fair. No, you can't be doing horrible things and then doing a horrible thing additionally to the horrible thing that you are currently doing. No, that's not fair. God damn it, play by the rules. His hand closed around my wrist and pushed it over the top of the table, grinding slowly over the surface. Oh no. With a new rush of panic, I saw his guiding path. My imprisoned hand was being forced closer and closer to the spinning blade. I tried to beg and scream, but it was lost in the noise. I squirmed, pitifully writhing with my depleted energy. This, he noticed, but he only responded with an animalistic groan and a faster pace. My terror exploded as my fingers approached the saw. That's not fair. Then, in one motion, he pushed my hand into the saw, severing my ring and pinky fingers. I froze in shock as he did a very bad thing. The saw finally stopped, but my ears were still ringing. I kept looking at the stumps on my hand. Is this someone else's hand? I was only vaguely aware of motions as he dragged my limp body back to the pole. A trail of blood followed me. It's my hand. It's my hand. It's my... Dots connected. Nerves fired. Pain finally found its way into my brain. It only took a few moments to progress from warmth to excruciating torment. Yet somehow, I felt a strange sense of relief. Pain was familiar. It was something I understood. I didn't even scream. I didn't have it in me. Can you hear me? I look up at him, the source of my pain. You look like you're in shock. I heard his words, but my mind wasn't forming a reply. My gaze dragged over his body. Medkit. That means it's over. Acid lightning shot through my arm as he picked it up and held my hand. Tears were flowing down my face. When did that start? He held the bleeding remains of my hand as if he were about to ask me to a dance. A dry husk of a laugh escaped my mouth. The image was funny. Oh, have I broken you? I mean, my sanity bar says otherwise. So, no? Break. I rolled the word in my mind, but I couldn't find its meaning. Meanwhile, he raised my fingers to his lips. Ew. He ran his tongue over my index finger, lapping at the blood that coated it. I shivered as a jolt of pain pulsed through my arm. Even my undamaged fingers hurt. The agony spread like radiation. I twitched in surprise as he pulled both my remaining fingers into his mouth. No, what? Ew. The radial pain wasn't enough to distract me from the feeling of his tongue. The hot, wet muscle slipped between and around my fingers. I felt my neck heating up. No, it's not. No, No, absolutely not. No. He had never been anything but hard before. I couldn't make sense of it. He ran his tongue along me again, and I felt every texture in his mouth. Ew, 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 ew. I sat in stunned silence as he finally stopped. My addled mind wondered if the shameless display I'd just witnessed really happened. I couldn't help myself. You make me... what's the English word for... verklempt? Verklempt? It just says the English word is verklempt. It means overcome with emotions. Thanks, Oxford Dictionary. I shuddered at the feeling of his spit cooling on me, barely hearing him. Well, I'd better get you cleaned up. I don't think there's coming back from this, my guy. You cut my fingers off. My rapidly weakening body wavered against the pole. But first, He absentmindedly rubbed the fingers of his left hand slowly before continuing. I have to know more. Tell me, how does your hand feel? Bad. I wanted to scream or lunge at him. My limbs shook as I tried to move, but I couldn't do much more than groan miserably at him. Is that all you can manage? Come on. He squeezed my cheek as if he could force words from me like a toy. Give me more. He gripped my chin and waited for me to speak. I used the last shred of my energy to try and escape his hands, but I could barely even stay conscious. I struggled to keep my eyes open as I stared angrily at him. All right, let's finish this. He held up my hand again along with the bottle. I recognized it only a split second before the alcohol poured over my stumps. Searing pain became a tear in my reality, a dark void that swallowed me. I gasped and coughed. Then I looked around frantically, trying to figure out where he went. I froze as I registered a strange noise. Snoring? I remembered my hand. I inhaled sharply at the surge of pain as I tried to pull it in front of me. A tiny whimper escaped my lips. I'm bound to the pole again. I gingerly felt around my injured hand with my good one. I felt cloth, bandages. I prodded at the stumps despite the pain. My insides seemed to flip. My fingers were missing, but it felt like they were still there. I remembered the scream of the saw and shook the thought from my mind. I needed to concentrate and get my bearings. I felt the stumps more carefully. They were rounded, a suggestion of stitches closing them up. But I couldn't be sure. My attention returned to the snoring. It seemed to be coming from the door to my right. My brow furrowed in concentration. Did I pass out before? How long has it been? I felt like I could think again, but my body was a mess. I was tired, too. Very tired. Well, fucking... My hand hurt way too much to struggle. It was worth a try. I'm definitely not getting out of the tape like this. Okay, well, fucking nothing I could do. I'll tie it up, I guess. Ugh. I leaned back and closed my eyes. I didn't have to wait long for the void to pull me under again. Good morning. I struggled to open my eyes and focus on the voice dragging me out of sleep. You're not looking so good. Oh, I wonder fucking why. But that's all right. I'm a bit sad to say it, but I think our time together is ending. A chill traveled down my spine. I lunged, desperately trying to escape my restraints. Oh, Cece, you're always ready for a fight. Something about his gentle tone really pissed me off. I pulled again. I do like your strong spirit. It just isn't that interesting anymore. Wait, but you were so much fun. But, well, I want to be honest with you. I've gotten a little bored. My mind was screaming. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. Something inside me argued that the suffering will end, but somehow it was nothing compared to my body, my instincts ready to fight for survival to the bitter end. Oh, I know you're scared. I pulled at the tape around my wrist, squeezing the flesh of my mangled hand painfully. I strained and struggled. But at least we'll do something fun, okay? Fuck you! I had a new idea that I wanted to try. He brandished the same knife that I'd grown so accustomed to seeing. He stepped over me and trapped my body between his knees. I don't like where this is going. You need to do your part, too. I need you to try your best not to die right away, okay? I'll try. He gripped my head tightly and forced it to stay still, even as I tried to pull away. I struggled against his legs as he ground against my face. Stay still. He pushed the knife point to the middle of my neck. I screamed as he slid the blade into my throat. My scream became a gurgle as blood rushed into my trachea. He pulled the knife back out and held my neck for a moment. Is he going to do what I think he's going to do? Because if he is, I'm going to scream so loud. Now I was just coughing. I couldn't scream anymore. He pushed a finger into the vertical slit he'd just made in my neck. That's good. To my horror, he pulled my head upward, exposing my bleeding neck as much as possible. Yep, he's doing exactly what I thought he was going to do. Great. Achievement unlocked. Sorry. You're goddamn right, Gato Bob. You should be sorry. Yep, see? He likes to put it in places that it has no business being it. That's closed for a reason. My guy, you don't put things in there. Okay, so we're back to this decision. I'm gonna choose the drill. Right, the drill. Because he likes tools. So everything else was the same up until this point. And then we're just gonna go drill instead of hammer, and then we'll go back and do other fun things. The drill. Good choice. I was secretly hoping you would choose it. He put the hammer down and kneeled next to me. I flinched as he pulled the trigger and waved the spinning drill bit in my face. This could do a lot of damage, you know? You're pretty brave to be picking it. I felt like I was being pushed through a corridor. Sweat and heat, walls closing and pushing me closer to a killing machine. I smelled blood and envisioned a slaughterhouse. His free hand running over my thigh shocked me out of the vivid scene in my head. Your legs are a bit chewed up still. Maybe we should give your arms some attention. Yeah, I tried to shift my position defensively, but as usual, it was no use. Trying to turn away only exposed my shoulder to him more. Which hand do you mostly use? I'm not gonna fucking tell you that. You usually tell me everything. I thought we were closer than that. Well, we're fucking not. What? He shrugged passively. I'll just do your left then. He grabbed my arm. He wasn't waiting anymore. Panic exploded to the front of my mind. Then he pushed the cold, blunt tip into my skin with bruising force. Get ready. That was a very unpleasant noise. I did not like that. The next moment was an explosion of sound and pain. The spinning metal tore through my flesh with vicious force. My blood spattered my own face. I hardly even realized I had been screaming. He wasn't letting go. He wasn't stopping. So much noise, the drill, my screaming, and he was screaming too. Suddenly, the drill stopped. He was panting and shaking. The bit was still lodged deep in my arm. My scream had devolved into a trembling moan of pain that sounded so alien to me. Think it'll go through the bone? His voice was so slow and heavy that I didn't register what he said at first. I tried to ready myself this time. Now we're gonna keep fighting. Fuck you! I tensed my body and clenched my teeth. He pulled the trigger and an agony like I've never felt shot through my arm to the rest of my body. Hey! Don't pass out. My whole arm hurt so much that even my fingertips felt like they were bruised and broken. I could barely tell when he pulled the bit out from my arm. That's good. He briefly cupped my chin and looked at my face. Yeah, you can handle a little more. No, I'm good. But you know what? You want to trade these? Let's trade these for a little bit. You take a turn this time. I'll put the drill in your neck and we'll see how you take it. I tried to say no, to scream, but it felt like I couldn't control my tongue. I only managed a garbled mess of panic and distress. He moved the drill bit over my knee. I'll be nice. And put it in the leg you've already ruined last night. Oh, thanks so much. And you're gonna fuck up my knee again anyways. For a fleeting moment, I experienced true hell. In that split second, I felt the drill spin back to life, tearing through my skin, then crunching, grinding through the bone just beneath. My head was pounding. No, my whole body was throbbing. My throat was so sore, I tasted blood. Was I screaming? Come on. There you go. My arm, my knee. The pain was so overwhelming, I was feeling nauseous. Stay with me. I know. It was too much. He was petting my head. I jerked my head to shake off his hand. He huffed in an amused way and withdrew his hand. I know it hurts. There's a bright side to the drill, though. Small holes. You won't need any stitches. Oh, yay! Oh, well, yippee for small holes, then! He let out a strangely gentle laugh. I love your sense of humor. He seemed to be examining my leg, though pain seized most of my attention. Just a bandage, I think. He got up and rummaged through his cabinets again. I slumped against the pole. I breathed a shaky sigh of relief. My whole body hurt like hell, but at least he seemed to be winding down. And I survived. I heard him washing his hands in the sink. Then he came back. Okay, mein Liebchen, fuck off. He revealed a wad of wet paper towel. He raised it to my arm and I winced, remembering the alcohol. But it was just water. The pressure still hurt my damaged muscle, but the water was warm. On the grand scale of things he's done to me, this wasn't so bad. I found myself relaxing slightly, in spite of it all. You've got blood on your face, too. Before I could answer, he raised the wet towel, now pink with my blood, to my face. Ew! Couldn't stand him touching me anymore. I jerked my face away. Then I gasped as he gripped my chin roughly. It's better if you're clean. He rubbed my face harder with the paper towel as I tried and failed to escape his grip. There was something humiliating about it. Don't be so fussy. You don't want an infection, do you? A little bit of blood on my face isn't going to give me an infection. Fucker, you know what will? Putting a goddamn drill in my knee. That'll give me an infection. I just clenched my jaw. Oh, I forgot your bandages. He grabbed another paper towel. I shouldn't get distracted so easily. I couldn't sort the confusing mess in my head. As he carefully dabbed the blood off my wounds, I slipped further into the murk of my mind. He wrapped my arm and knee in clean gauze as I stared blankly. Then he shattered my malaise with a single sentence. You're not going to be able to walk properly anymore. He said it in the same tone he used to comfort me, but the reality of it hit me like a brick. Well, you probably won't leave this basement anyway. I remembered where I was and what he said he was going to do. I stared in horrified silence. But there's no need to worry about that yet, right? He waited a moment for an answer he wouldn't get. Anyway, I can see that you're tired. I'll let you get some rest. Thanks. I barely noticed him leave. I felt like I was drowning in my thoughts. 1,000 different things, but I couldn't make sense of any of them. Just dark water in my mind, pulling me under. I shook my head. No, this isn't complicated. That fucking bastard did this to me. I jerked forward and immediately winced. My body. I'm gonna make him pay for everything he did to me. I tried to imagine him with fear in his eyes. With a pang of frustration, I realized I couldn't. Doesn't matter. I'll find out. You hear that, fucker? I knew that no one could hear my thoughts. I didn't care. I'm gonna kill you. Now that I was letting it out, the rage bubbled up inside me. I screamed wordlessly at the ceiling. As soon as silence fell again, I felt a spike of fear. Would he come back down? I listened and waited, but it seemed he wouldn't. I let out a defeated sigh. I have to do something. I have to find some way out of here. I won't last much longer. My body wouldn't answer the desperation of my mind. I couldn't even seem to keep my head up. I sighed and surrendered to sleep. Is there even a point? No, yeah, I figured. Alright, we'll just go to sleep then. Alright. Gonna fucking survive this saw and see if anything different happens. Nope, it was still the bad thing. We were still in the bad place. Yeah, I definitely did miss this guy. Fuck you, Strade. Oh, I'm gonna stab you in your stupid face. I'm just gonna stab and then put you in the fucking freezer, you freezer burnt bitch. The moral of the story is don't go to bars. Just generally, at all. Just don't do it. And if you do, don't go by yourself. Go with somebody you trust, like can actually trust. But I mean, can you trust anybody these days, really? Do you ever really know anybody? No. We're all just kind of fucked, aren't we? See you next time.